Hey everybody, Mitch here from Outdoor Channel and Country Outdoors Podcast, bringing you today an exclusive interview with country music hitmaker Drake White. Drake, welcome and thank you for joining us today. We have a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah, hey brother Mitch, how you doing, man?
When we were together last summer, we first met, I think it was a year ago, November or so. We recorded our podcast interview. We're able to catch up with you in Minneapolis and able to do some fishing and get the band out wake surfing on Lake Minnetonka. I never would have imagined where we are today and the journey that you've been on since then. Do you mind sharing with the fans a little bit about what's been happening?
No, not at all. Yeah, it's been crazy. And so basically I was dealing with an AVM, which is an arterial venous malformation, and I was born with it. And it was a lump of arteries and veins in the back of my head that essentially the doctor was going to go in and do 3 to 6 embolization surgeries, which is practically glue it shut because I didn't need it. So that sounds scary, but to me, it was a relief because I could go continue to do what I love within 48 hours of the surgery. So I could literally have brain surgery on a Monday, rest Tuesday and Wednesday, and Thursday be out on the road and then playing shows on Friday, which seems just crazy, but that was my reality. And we started doing those embolizations. And long story short, I had about 85 to 90% of it embolized, the AVM itself. And I was on stage on August the 16th in Roanoke, Virginia, and had a hemorrhagic stroke because of a brain bleed. It burst. A part of that AVM burst, and it started bleeding in the back of my head and caused a hemorrhagic stroke. And I've just been it completely knocked out my left side. Couldn't feel my left leg, couldn't feel my left arm, and just completely knocked me out and just rid me with paralysis. So the last 6 months I've just been in rehab, and by the grace of God, I've got all my movement back in my left hand and left shoulder. Not all of it yet, but the majority of it, and I'm walking around, without a cane, sometimes with a cane, but I'm fighting through that. Just played my first show back in San Antonio, Texas, a couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. So, it's good. And
I don't want to let you get too far ahead because, I wasn't able to get a hold of you for several weeks afterwards. Obviously, you spent over 3 weeks in the hospital, right?
Yeah. I spent about 40 days in the hospital.
Yeah, it's amazing. But what's incredible is one of the first calls I had with you after, you weren't talking about yourself or talking about, because I've actually never heard that story from you firsthand, how it all went down. You were talking about raising awareness for AVM and raising money for those people in need. And I just think it's quite incredible. And I want to make sure people know that if you go to the drakewhite.com website, Drake sells a shirt about brain health, and it's $25, and a portion of that goes to brain health. It's just a great testimony to you and your wife and your faith in that it's not about you, it's about raising awareness. And your fans, it was very amazing to see your fan support and see how your fans interacted with you. And we were fortunate enough to catch up with you again last November in Nashville when you did your first show back. It was a corporate event, and you mentioned at that show that your music and the lyrics and that since your traumatic brain injury there, has a different meaning for you. A lot of times the lyrics mean something different. How has it impacted your music?
And in every way. I mean, you can't go through something like this without it impacting you. And I mean, to simplify it, everything, I've kind of trimmed the fat on everything, if you will, and everything that's small and minute, it doesn't really matter. I've just kind of let it roll off my back like a duck, and it's been really humbling and really for music, everything that I sing or everything that I write, it just means a little bit more, to be able to get up there and do it. I mean, I could have had the the brain bleed in the part of my brain that controls my speaking and that controls my voice. But God didn't choose that. You know, He chose to put it in the part of my brain that works my left side. And so, what am I going to do to go out here and help other people that are going through adversity? Because everybody's going through something. And that was my mindset from the get-go. You know, how can I be a just a leader and just go help people? And that in turn helped me is helping me heal. And it just helped me kind of overcome all this, because it was very hard at first, you know, and still is. I have my hard days, you know, when I can't function like I've always functioned. I can't go out and run, or I can't go out and do what I usually do.
But you were able, you said last weekend in Houston, you were able to perform a live event. Tell us a little bit how that went. I saw it on Instagram. I saw a lot of the posts into that. It looked like it looked quite therapeutic.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's heard that music heals, and I've been after my agent and my management since day one. I mean, since I was in the hospital, I said, we got to get back out there on stage. This is when you breathe it. I mean, this is my life force. This is what I do, you know? So I was after them from the get-go, and they're like, whoa, back up a minute, man. You know, you've got a brain injury and this and that. But it truly is healing to see people and to be performing in front of people again. So the San Antonio thing was just, I shared the story, and people were, you know, they were inspired by it, I hope, you know, or I believe they were. And I was inspired because nobody said that I was going to be able to do that again, you know. It was just something that I made up in my mind, that I'm going to do this and I'm going to keep it going, because that's just what I did, you know. It's just what I chose to do.
I think your fans who know you as the Reverend as well are used to you imparting knowledge and passion and that. So it's not foreign to them that you would go through this experience and share those. So we are also very thankful that in fact that November night in Nashville, to hear you sing, you could tell that your voice and vocal cords were untouched. So we're all very thankful for that, because from what I think we've heard, there's some new music in the works.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. So I actually was in the hospital bed working on lyrics, working on production with Jaron Johnston from the Cadillac 3. And we had some music that we had recorded before the accident. And so it just gave me a minute to sit down and really, really focus on music, what music meant to me, what I wanted that music to feel like and sound like. And we're just really excited. We're gonna blast off the very 1st of May with a tour announcement and new music, and it's gonna be good, you know.
Fantastic. So I want to shift gears a little bit, because I've also seen on the Instagram and heard from you that, you know, with the recent tornado in Nashville, that you and Alex have been very active in supporting the community, and the community from afar is pretty incredible, you know, and we want to make sure here at Outdoor Channel that people understand that this was a week ago. You know, we move on, and we have coronavirus and all these other things happening, but the reality is the rebuilding is still just starting. Can you give us a little bit of insight into, you know, what you've seen and what you're seeing, where we're at?
Well, the morning after, I had a doctor's appointment at my neurologist, who is right down from this little area. We're talking about a neighborhood, a big neighborhood called Germantown in Nashville. And that's just one of the areas. This tornado, and I'm sure you've heard a ton of facts on it, but it was on the ground a long time. I don't want to just spew a bunch of numbers, but it was on the ground over 50 miles and jumped around and really devastated a lot of people. But we're talking about brick buildings, like completely level to the foundation. And this part of Nashville is not a gentrified part of Nashville. And there's a lot of like Section 8 type of families in this area that had nothing, and literally were sleeping out in tents out, and they were burning fires. When the sun would go down, they would light a fire, and it was literally, I've been to Haiti, and it felt like Haiti, down there. And Alex immediately starts praying, like, what can we do? And long story short, she got in touch with a guy that runs a hotel on Dickerson Pike, very close to the area. There's been so many people, and it's not just us, believe me, there is so many people in Nashville. As you said, this city has just came together, and this really has shown people what tragedy, how great people are, and just what tragedy can do is show everybody around the world how great humanity is, and how great Nashville as a city is. But Alex has 35 rooms down at the Hampton Inn on Dickerson Pike, and she has placed displaced families in those rooms. She's raised over $35,000, not just her, with help from so many country music folks, so many of their wives, country music artists' wives, and she just connected all the dots because she's like Superwoman, and
I think fans know about her from your music, because I think she stars in many of your great songs, but they might not know that she's a very accomplished chef and has a passion for education. And so I wasn't surprised at all to learn about that. I know you both started a venue out in Nashville, outside of Nashville. It's White Oak Hollow, and you've also opened that to the community as well. But I saw online that she's soliciting funds via Venmo, and it's at Milk and Honey, and is spelled out, Milk and Honey Food Co. And you can find that on Drake's Instagram as well, I'm sure. A great way to help fund somebody directly who's putting that money straight back into the community. And we'll be sure to post that and other things along with this, and other ways you can help. Tell me, like volunteers, I saw a notice yesterday that they're they are in many cases over capacity in some counties in terms of their ability to accommodate volunteers.
Yeah, there's just been an overpouring of people wanting to help. Everybody has that nature here, it feels like, and there's literally thousands of volunteers showing up to these neighborhoods with chainsaws. So it's like, it's a little scary there that, everybody's running we've all been around chainsaws enough to know that they can be very dangerous. But these massive trees have just been, in piles of rubble, have just disappeared, because these people have came out there. And there's a long way to go, Mitch, and there's a lot of stuff to be done, but it's just a testament to the spirit of Nashville and the spirit of these people, that they would have to turn volunteers away, and we got to keep it going.
Yeah. Drake, I was hoping to talk a little bit about hunting and conservation, but it's hard to go from AVM to Tornado to Recovery to hunting.
Man, we can always get into hunting, man.
Yeah. Did you get out this year, as busy as you've been?
I did. I went out duck hunting and took a bunch of my dad and a bunch of my buddies, and it was risky. It was like one of those things that I was not really up for waiting around in the timber in Arkansas, but I'm glad I did it. And here's why: because similar to music, what I've been through, from a complete paralyzed left side, and constantly telling myself every day through cantations and through just positive thinking, hey man, you're going to be able to come back. You're going to be able to move your left foot again, your left arm again. Doing things like hunting and being out there, standing out there, and my dad giving me a cup of coffee and me taking a sip and watching birds come in. And I killed a couple. I mean, I didn't really have my left arm, but it was we created this little system where I could move back and forth and was safe with it, and was actually able to get out there and do it. But what it did for my spirit was worth way more than what it did, as far as any, killing anything. It was just unbelievable to go out there and be able to do what I love to do, and see the sunrise and see nature, kind of take over that morning, and just tell stories and be around the fire and be a dude, like I've always been, after all that was, potentially over for me.
I think what we'll do, let's send our viewers back to outdoorchannel.com. They can listen to your podcast from the first season. We talk a lot about conservation, and you said some pretty compelling statements and tied it to the music as well. I think that what we should end on, because you are a philosophical man, and I remember reading one thing you said about a man doesn't choose the hat chooses him.
Oh, yeah.
So what's the story on your hat today? How'd that hat choose you?
Well, this is an Orvis hat, and this hat chose me just from a fishing perspective, being out there and it's wool and, that kind of thing. But what I mean is something that fits. It's like a dog, a hunting dog, You can't really buy somebody a hunting dog. They got to go look at the dog in its eyes, and they got to go see if they connect with it. A hat, when you put a hat on your head, Mitch, it either fits or it doesn't. It doesn't matter if it's the perfect size for you. It's like a good pair of blue jeans, And when you put that hat on, if it makes you stand up and you can feel it, it's got this thing to it. And that's what I meant by a hat finds you. You don't find a hat. You don't go out necessarily. Most of the time, if you're looking for a hat, you won't find one. If you're just out there and you go into an old antique store and there's one hanging up, I can't count how many hats that I bought out of antique stores where I've just grabbed them and put them on my head and been like, oh, it fits, cool. And that's what I meant by that.
Fantastic. Some of us get lucky, and if somebody sends us a hat and it fits and it looks good. My friends at Blue Otter sent this one, and I appreciate it. Actually became my hat. I think I should shop more at antique shops, though. But Drake, I appreciate your time. We appreciate your time. Your story is inspirational. We're excited to hear about new music. Please keep us in the loop on what we and your fans can do to continue to support you and Alex in your initiatives. Like I said, we will post some links on this interview so that folks can contribute. Please do if you can. We love the fact that we know exactly where it's going, and we know it's going to help people directly in need. And we've met the folks who are actually doing the heavy lifting. So thank you for that. Drake, any final words of wisdom for everyone?
Man, you're doing good. Everybody's doing good out there. Just keep working hard and know that we're going to do a benefit for the brain coming up at the Ryman in Nashville. It's been booked. I don't know the exact date, but I can throw out there May the 17th. Feels like, no, that's not it.
We will confirm, so folks don't just show up they can show up at the Ryman on the 17th. You might not just be there, but we'll go ahead. We will get that date, and we will be sure to post this and post that date with it, and then repost this closer to that. In fact, stay tuned for more information. We're looking forward to help you promote that event. I understand you got some pretty good artists joining you, but you don't have to go too far. We don't want to get you in trouble.
No, it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
All right, Drake, thanks again. We really appreciate your time. You have a great night.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
Peace.